Why do black people deserve reparations for something they weren't alive for? That's a great question.
Tap, tap, tap in. Those are good reasons as to why they should. Here's why they won't. Those who believe they are owed something aren't. And even if they were, they don't have a plan. Too often this argument goes back and forth between black people and white people, and neither one of them are responsible for said reparations. The idea or concept of reparations has to be very, very specific. We need to know who you're talking to. But it's still not that simple. We need to know how you have been affected. And what black people can't seem to wrap their minds around is the idea or reality that they actually have not been affected. The we that we speak of are people not related to us and have no affiliation with us. And too often the theys are anecdotal examples of white families who've done well over time. So let's actually have this discussion. Oftentimes creators will rebuttal, but not offer exactly the solution to what they're talking about. So let's do that now. Having a plan is important when it comes to matters such as this. Think of class action lawsuits. There's a lot of work that goes into building those cases before they're presented and tried. If this truly matters to you, you gotta do the work to prove to others why they should look into it. So where do we begin? And for that, I say, let's not recreate the wheel. Who, what, when, where, and why. First, we must define who is owed reparations. I would say a descendant from slaves would be a person who's owed reparations. Only they should be speaking. As far as the other side is concerned, the who would be who owned slaves, who benefited from slave labor, and who profited from slaves. That's the start of the discussion. Defining the who is where this discussion begins. And I'm here for the ride. Who, what, when, where, and why. We've discussed the who, and now let's discuss the what in regards to reparations. Why is it important to be specific when it comes to the what and what we're asking for? Well, if we're really honest about it, what you ask for might actually be less than what people are willing to give. It happens more than you know. And if you're up for a promotion right now and you're talking salary, go ahead and ask for that extra 20K. This is your sign. In regards to reparations, defining the what isn't that simple, however. While the personal needs of those who are descendants should absolutely be the focus, I think America as a whole should also be the focus. Hear me out. I think we can have a meeting of the minds and agree that slave labor absolutely did help build this country. And if that's the case, I think that reparations should also help build this country. I'm excited for some ideas around what that would look like. So we discussed the who, we discussed the what. Today, we're going to discuss the when, where, and how. One of the biggest roadblocks that's facing the discussion is defining the details. We've struggled with the how to find this information. As I mentioned before, I spent 8 years of my life working at Wells Fargo Bank, and I have quite a bit of knowledge about how the banks work. One of the biggest things that most people don't know about banks is that they love insurance. I mean, the return on insurance is great. Insurance on property, even more. And something that people aren't considering is that slaves were property, and you bet your ass they were insured. A slave owner would be a fool not to insure their property. And so they did just that. And this paper trail is something that we could look into to find the when and the where. When they came to America and where they were shipped to. Who, what, when, where, how, and now why. The why behind reparations. And to get here, it's going to take a little bit of courage. The truth of the matter is this. Healing is an important energy or force that too many of us just haven't tapped into yet. Why is that? Healing is also multifaceted and specific. What you need to heal yourself is not what others need to heal themselves. We forget that sometimes. Push the conversation forward. We've talked about validation on my channel, and one of the ways that people heal is by having wrongs righted. If we have a plan that could work to right these wrongs, why not at least try it? Ultimately, I don't know why anybody would want to keep somebody from healing, or why they would choose not to heal themselves. Ultimately, we're human beings, and all of us have been wronged in this country. Why can't we see that? Let's discuss.